Hello and welcome to what is essentially Chat, Grapple and Cheap Pops, but it's the end of season football review with me, JB, and the best Chris in all of football and wrestling podcasts.
Yep.
Mr. Chris Dredd.
Thank you. I can hear the reluctance in his voice already. Yeah, because we're going to be broaching some subjects today that, it might get a little bit heated, but we're here for it. Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's a season where Arsenal bottled many things. It's a season where Tottenham stole something.
We did steal it, and we couldn't give a shit.
It's a season where Man United gave it a whole new level.
So, are we swearing on this? Or are we keeping it
clean?
We're keeping it clean. So,
we've got to stay clean for a bit.
We've got to stay clean for a bit, but also we will beep it out. We can beep. It's fine.
Yeah.
So we can beep because it might get a little bit emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might get a little bit sticky still. So we've got obviously the hand sanitizer and some and we're sporting our football attire. Our long coats. This is, we're rocking
proper football.
Proper football. So we'll have the commentary microphones next time because this is the Chat, Grapple and Cheap Pops Entertainment Network. And this is what we're doing for you lot. We are huge football fans. We live it, we eat it, we breathe it. When the season's on, we're there for it. The banter, the tears, the banality that some matches are, like the Europa League final. But we're here for it, all of it. We take it all, and we love it. So we're not just huge wrestling fans; we are huge football fans, and we are here in our football attire. We're here in the pitch side jackets.
Pitch side jackets, yeah.
Ready to go. We are in the touchline coats. That's what they're called.
So not many stones will be left unturned here. So we are going to be talking about, obviously the champions, the winners of FA Cups, the winners of other trophies.
Yeah.
The also-rans, the guys that didn't quite make it, the guys that hit the bottom, and and what comes next season with new arrivals and everything else with it. Stick around. It's gonna get heated. It's gonna get Larry.
It's gonna get Larry. But
there won't be any tears. I assure you.
There's no tears before bedtime. The only tears will be tears of joy. So it's a bit hot in here. So what do you say we take off our touchline jackets and we are no longer.
Sit back, get comfortable. We're going to be talking about football. The sport you know and love, because you've come here to listen or to watch this.
That's right.
Stick around. You might even agree with us on something. Who knows?
So, coming up, Chat, Grapple, Cheap Pops Podcast, football end of season review. Roll the credits.
Play that music. So where to begin? A season of highs, lows, ups, downs, everything else in between. A season where some teams who you would never have thought win anything come up and steal something, like Crystal Palace did.
Mm-hmm. Newcastle United
did. I mean, Liverpool didn't steal it. They went out and won it fairly. There is another team that stole something, but for now... I'm going to let the Tottenham fan revel in his glory whilst I sit here in my incredibly loud shirt.
Well, look.
Take it away.
So, are we starting there?
It's your bit, man.
Look.
This is your time.
Look. For many, many moons, okay? Let me tell you a story, right? For many, many moons, right? Even before the 17-year trophy drought, okay? Even before that, right? We have been cooked. Yeah, we have been cooked like rotisserie chickens week in, week out. The problem that I
We
have,
cook like a well done steak.
bruv, we have been like a tough $2 steak, bro. But the problem that I have is, and the problem that I'm having with the current Discord, yeah, is that what are the measurable sort of credits that you get in a season? We were send your mind back to a time not that long ago, right, where Tottenham repeatedly for 5-6 seasons, I think it was 5 seasons, finished above you in the Premier League.
You did?
Repeatedly for 5 years. But oh no, that wasn't good enough. Right? Do you know why we were told it wasn't good enough? Because we didn't win a fucking trophy, right? It was never good enough. We could get into Champions League finals. We could finish repeatedly above you in the league. We could perform better in cups than you, and we did repeatedly. But oh no, it wasn't good enough because we didn't win a trophy. It's 2025. We were in a literal relegation battle in the league, right? 22 losses.
I don't think you're in a relegation battle, but that's
If
fine.
if the 3 teams below us were any better, then we would have been.
Not necessarily true. I did the maths. I did the
Right.
research. Over the last 8 seasons, as far as I went back, or I could be bothered to go back.
Okay.
If Tottenham finished on the same amount of points they finished on this season,
We still would have been
they'd have
safe.
stayed up.
Okay, right. So
that's a problem for
Okay.
the teams below. Yeah.
So okay, that's fine. That's a them problem. All right. So that's fine. But that's the issue here. It's the measurables. It's the we've been told that it doesn't matter if you finish above Arsenal. It doesn't matter where you finish in the league. You know, we missed out narrowly. We finished 5th in the Premier League, and we didn't get Champions League football season before last.
You didn't deserve it.
But again, if we would have finished 5th this season, we would have got Champions League football.
Yeah, you would have deserved it because
Right.
the space was there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But that's the thing.
And also, you would have got Champions League football if one of your players went through one goal, would have scored instead of putting one straight at the goalkeeper.
I mean, again,
And by way of that, I mean putting it straight at the goalkeeper so another team wouldn't win the league.
oh yeah. But
My
the thing is, though,
conspiracy hat is on.
yeah, no, but Sonny didn't do. That's just
Oh, he's just shit now, is it?
It's no, he's not shit.
Oh,
It's just
I'm swearing already.
no. I've already said it. You know, the problem was he was being blackmailed for over. Have you heard the news that come out? He was being blackmailed by an Instagram model, and we don't know how long it was going on for. So maybe that was the time where he was getting blackmailed because she said that he knocked her up and wanted 200 grand and he paid her. But then it's come out that she was sleeping with a businessman as well at the other time, and they don't know if it actually was his baby or whatever. Anyway, by the by, the main point is this. I don't give a shit if we finish 17th in the Premier League. I couldn't give a shit how many games we've lost this season. The measurables of this season are the same for you at Arsenal and the same for us at Tottenham. You look at the season as a whole and you look at it and you go, right, what have we come out with at the end of it? Are you relegated this season, Arsenal? No. Are Tottenham relegated this season?
Close.
Are we relegated this season?
No, it should have been.
No. Right, it's still.
No, the answer is no, of course.
Did we get Champions League football?
You did.
Did you get Champions League
We
football?
did.
Have you got a trophy?
Yes and no.
No. Listen.
Because we, on this show, and the world knows that we are big advocates of the women's game.
Of course we are.
We will talk about that very shortly.
But we're not talking about that at the moment because
No. The men's team won no trophy.
no 0 trophies, and we've won a trophy.
Yes.
Alright.
you stole the trophy.
So, in that case, I don't care. It doesn't matter.
That's fine.
Because the measurables of what makes a successful season are: did we get European football? I think that's for the majority of Premiership teams. If you're not going to get relegated, the aim is you want Champions League football, you want Europa League, or you want European football of some way, shape, or form. That's what you want.
Would you, as a Tottenham fan, accept Conference League football? What Chelsea are about
if we, I mean, you take what you earn. You take what you earn.
Okay.
So we have, by hook or by crook.
Yeah.
Yeah, by hook or by crook. But the thing is, with this game, you need as the prophets, DJ Luck and MC Neat once said, With a little bit of luck, we can make it Champions League. With a little bit of luck, yeah. So we've had more than a little bit of luck, right? But it goes more than that. It's when you turn up for the fucking games that matter, right? We knew we weren't going to get fucking top 6, top 5, whatever. We knew we weren't going to get it that way by probably January. He's even said it even before then. He knew, yeah, the amount. But also as well, let's not fucking let's deep it a little bit. Man United are bloody terrible, right?
They are.
Oh, hold on a minute. Who knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup?
On penalties. Yeah. It happens.
Again, I'm just winding him up. I love him.
Is what it is.
A shootout, and I was praying and begging that the Europa League final did not go to penalties, because I'm telling you now, I would not put money on Tottenham to win a penalty shootout.
I mean, if we want to talk about the FA Cup, I mean, didn't you lot go to Tamworth or something like that?
This season it's unfathomable.
I mean, that's not really a defendable sort of.
It's unfathomable. No, it's not defendable. It is. For me, as a Tottenham fan, right, I spent all this season, most weekends, in disbelief of how we can, in one game, go to Man City and demolish them, go to Man United, demolish them, go to Aston Villa, demolish them at home and away. We well, not away actually, because that was at our end of the season, but at home we smashed them 4-1 at home. We were demolishing teams. We were taking them apart, and then the next week we'd play against Leicester,
Ipswich,
and lose. So there was no rhyme or reason to what was happening. It was very, very strange. I mean, last season Ange came in, yeah, and we got 5th spot, but we didn't get Champions League football because of what happened with whoever won whatever cups and all that sort of thing that was going on. So we didn't get Champions League football, and we felt hard done by. Sort of like how hard done by Aston Villa feel right now because of that decision at the last game of the season, which is fucking insane what's going on there. But yeah, again, it's one of them ones where if you would have done more during the season and won maybe another couple of games here or there, then you wouldn't have to worry about the last game of the season. Do you get what I mean? So there's always that as well. It's like, right, if you leave it to the last minute, you get caught out on a decision. That's not taking anything away from Aston Villa or saying what happened was right, because it, whatever happened, the decisions of, VAR not doing this or the ref not blow. You know what I mean? I'm still hot about the fucking offside rule, the thing that's going on at the moment. Where there's
we can get to the offside rule.
But it's things like that. Football is very, very fine margins in the modern game, and 90 minutes isn't long in a football game. And when you've got knockout football, and it's 2 teams, and especially Man United have been absolutely atrocious. Amorim, the tactics that he went into that Tottenham game with, unbelievable, mate. Like any other manager, I think would have. I can't. I'm not a Man United fan. I'm fucking glad I'm not, because I've lived down south, and then obviously anyone down here sorting Man United's a bit mad still. Which that's another thing that gets me. Liverpool fans and Man United fans that live around London, I don't get you. I don't get it. And you can have a pop at me all you want, yeah, but
they will, I'm sure.
Yeah, but the thing is though, you support the team of where you come from or who your dad supports, and that is like a rule, isn't it?
I'm supporting the team my dad supports. You must be joking.
Who's your dad support?
Chelsea.
Oh really? Well, see, I've got a bit. I don't think I could. So how come you support Arsenal then? Can I ask
Mum
you?
does.
Well, okay, but that's no, but that's fair. That's fair. That's fair, right? My mum's from Camden, Tufnell Park. Yeah, my mum's from round Arsenal sort of areas, King's Cross and all that. Yeah, so that's where my mum's from. But my dad's from Edmonton Green. And my granddad's from Edmonton Green. They're all from Tottenham. So that's why I support Tottenham. It was handed to me. It was given to me. I did not choose it. Yeah, it's one of them things. You don't choose generally who you support. You don't pick and choose. You go, right, my dad's a Chelsea fan, my mum's an Arsenal fan. Who am I going to support? I'll be a Gooner or I'll be a Chelsea fan. Right? That's it. It's sort of how it goes. When you've got people down here whose mum or dad or whatever supports the Southern team because they're around London, they go, no, I'm going to support Liverpool because my mate supports Liverpool, or I'm going to support You know.
We've seen an influx of City supporters now.
Yeah, but it's a mad one. It's a mad one. If you live around London, I'm sorry, I'm going to get heat for it, but I don't care. You know what I mean? Mark my words. I couldn't care less. The term glory hunter has not is been out of the conversation for many years. When I was growing up in school, glory
United
hunter.
fans were glory hunters.
There were glory hunters, bruv. I went to school in Hertfordshire, around London, got family in London, and people were supporting Man fucking United. And you're like, you're a glory hunter. We told them to their face, you're a glory hunter. That term needs to be brought back. Bring it back. We need to bring it back.
Right.
I'm definitely not a glory hunter.
Today you are.
Yeah, oi, I'm not a glory hunter. I'm a glory.
Okay.
You know.
I got some bits to say.
Go for it, bruv. Because you know, at the end of the day,
so
you're entitled to.
I have a. There's an interest here because we've gone on for the past few minutes, right, about Spurs and how wonderful they are and how great they are and what they've done is a wonderful achievement, and that's fine. I get that. They've pinched. You know what? They didn't pinch it. They stole it. They stole a Europa League by beating one of the worst teams in the Premier League. Not only by being one of the worst teams in the Premier League,
beaten four times,
which is part of the problem here. It's that I've said this already, and this is a huge indictment on the rest of the European teams. You telling me that the other European teams were not good enough? I'm not talking about Bodo Glimt. I'm not talking about them. They were no good in the first place. They should have never been there. Yeah, I'm talking about Eintracht Frankfurt, third or whatever in the Bundesliga. They should have wiped the floor with a team in 17th in the Premier League.
Couldn't do it.
No, they couldn't do it, and that's a problem. Has the Premier League gotten too strong, or have the other teams just gotten worse? I mean, I'm open to interpretation on that for everyone else to tell me. But what we have here is a team finishing in 17th in the Premier League, the third biggest team in London, winning the third biggest European trophy out there. I'm not having this.
No, objection. Where's my
let me hold my point for a
third
minute.
biggest trophy?
The third biggest European trophy out there, behind the Champions League and the Women's Champions League. How dare anyone try and tell the world that the Europa League, which was born from the UEFA Cup, which was always seen as the third-rate trophy in Europe behind the Cup Winners' Cup.
Where's the Fairs Cup?
I don't know where the Fairs Cup is anymore. I think that died in the 80s.
That's what I'm saying.
So what we're saying is, how on earth? And I have to commend in a way. Excuse me. I have to commend someone like Ange. You know, it's who we are, mate. He's a thief in the night.
Hey!
Because he put Tottenham fans through absolute hell, week in, week out.
Fucking A.
Paying at least £50 a week to go and watch that rubbish in the Premier League.
100%.
And then, you know, they would go to the outer, you know, what is it? The outer Antarctic. I don't know where Bodo
Arctic Circle.
Arctic Circle. The Arctic Circle, where only like a couple of hundred Spurs fans could go, and they'd go and put on a performance. It's shameless, absolutely shameless. And he comes out on the stage and says, season 3 is always better than season 2. It's not. Believe me, it's not. How many times have you got to season 3 of a show and gone, I'm done? There are problems, right? There are problems with my team. And like I said, this shirt is very loud, so excuse me. There are problems with my team where we have a manager who hasn't won anything for a little bit too long, in my opinion. Things need to change. Things will no doubt change in the coming weeks.
He's been given a while, hasn't he?
He has. He's been given plenty of time.
He has.
But what I'm saying here is, and let's not get to the point where that Europa League final was one of the worst games of football I've ever seen. The goal, you know, two teams who obviously couldn't attack because they were garbage. The goal was smuggled in like a prisoner smuggling in drugs at Wandsworth.
Yes.
I'm not what a goal that was.
Brendan Johnson. Back post mafia. Yes, bro.
He didn't touch it. It was Shaw. It
No,
went in off Shaw.
he didn't.
Flabby arm.
No.
No, it was a smuggled goal. It's one of the worst things. And
makes it even sweeter.
But my biggest thing is Tottenham fans enjoying the fact that they've been put through hell.
Yep.
For 38 games in the Premier League. The last game at home as well. The last game. They're too busy celebrating. They play Brighton at home. They lose 4-1 and go,
Bro, they
We
were
won the Europa League.
Bro, we were singing
Goodness
so
me.
loud, but we were 4-1. Do you know why no one turned up? Everyone was pissed still.
Shameful.
Everyone, hold on a minute. Hold on. Let me just.
Shameful.
Let me just. Do you want to wipe your eyes a little bit? Oh no.
Please don't touch
me.
me.
Oh no. Oh, what was that? Oh.
You want Shameless? He got that printed. You want Shameless? That is. Oh my word. Okay. So that's the point.
I've got a trophy, haven't you? Wait,
I will show you the Women's Champions League. It's fine,
bro.
We can do that.
I respect everything you've said, and you're not wrong.
You don't have to agree because I don't have to agree.
No,
It's
but
fine.
the fact is, though, you're not wrong. The problem is,
don't care.
I don't give a fuck.
No, he doesn't
because
care,
the fact
that's
is, it literally it doesn't matter one iota.
But-
because
What happens when you get into October of next year? You're still in the Champions League.
Yep.
You're not doing very well,
Yep.
and you're 12th.
Right.
What happens then?
Let me give a bit of background. First of all, I'm gonna snap into a Malwam. Oh yeah.
Okay, but we don't want background. We want to know what happens when you're 12th, or even worse.
Right. No one wants to hear mitigating circumstances, right?
Of course they do.
I will give Arsenal their due, okay?
Why?
Because I'm not a fucking moron, right? I will give Arsenal their due, okay? I fucking hate Arsenal. And that is a statement that will forever be true, right? I fucking hate Arsenal, okay? The majority of the fan base, do you know who I hate the most? And I'll be honest with you, okay? Because he's absolutely, all right, he's in the public eye or whatever. That Ty from Arsenal Fan TV.
Oh, he's a deluded moron.
He's,
don't worry
you
about
know,
it. Please don't bring the AFTV lot into any conversation that we have.
okay, I respect you too much to do
I
that.
am nothing to do with them, just as much as they have nothing to do with what we do.
Okay.
They are the biggest gang of grifters and nobodies who happen to get where they are. It happens. Their opinions are 99 times out of 99 terrible. So then they don't know ball, and that's the problem. Is that they shout their opinions no matter how terrible. People will listen. People will gather round at stadiums to listen to them because there's a camera on it.
And they want their
be
5
a part.
minutes.
They want to all be a part of it.
Yeah.
That's fine. Do what you're doing. Make your money. Stay the hell away from people who do know ball and know what they're talking about. And yes, I say a lot of these things in jest about Spurs because the proof is in the pudding, I'm afraid, and they have brought a trophy back to the crummiest part of North London, and they can sing about Woolwich and all that stuff, and it's fine.
It was
because come next season, we'll be back.
But this is where the truth is revealed. So this season, by hook or by crook, we've got a trophy.
Theft.
But let me give you the mitigating circumstances, okay? Arsenal have had their fair share of injuries, would you say, this season?
It was a horrible season.
It was a horrible season for Arsenal. It was a fucking horrible season for Tottenham, injury-wise, right?
Who?
Mate, we had... Mickey van der Ven was out. Do you know how many games he's played this season?
Do you know how little I rate Mickey van der Ven?
Mate, Mickey van der Ven
Good
is a
Lord.
fantastic defender. Do you know how
He
many...
can't defend.
He's played 11 games this season.
He's got pace, fine. But I've seen him get turned by bang average wingers.
Dude.
Bang average wingers and centre forwards who shouldn't be turning anyone.
Because he's even...
He's got 2 left feet.
No, the majority of games... this is the problem. The majority of games he's played this season, he's been injured. He's not been 100%. Do you know, we beat Manchester United. This is how shit Man United are, okay? We beat
You really don't like them, do you?
I fucking hate Man United because most of their fans are from London.
Talk about Man United.
Right, let's talk about... Right, I'm not being funny. Right, anyway. This is how bad Man United are, right? We beat Man United without Lucas Bergvall, James Maddison, or Dejan Kulusevski. Our 3 creative midfielders. That's why we looked like we were struggling to score goals, because we had no movement in the middle of the park. We were literally bombing up the wings. And
2 out of the 3, I don't rate it either.
well, but the thing is,
Bergvall's got potential.
Bergvall's fantastic. Kulusevski's fantastic. Madders can change a game. right? He can. I've watched them anyway. That's by the by. We've had them. If you look at our season, the amount of injuries has been absolutely shocking, and Ange can only get a pass this season because of the injuries of 22 losses. 22 losses for a big team in the Premier League who expect top 5. We expect top 5. There's no excuse, that we shouldn't get top 5. So he's got a pass this season because of the pure amount of injuries. And the fact that we were able to... Son wasn't... Fucking Romero had a broken toe, right? And he played in the Europa League. He had a broken toe, I think. Mickey van der Ven still, I don't think, is 100%. He's still not right. They've had to manage the minutes all season. Honestly, I could go on a diatribe about the injuries and how Ange has had to literally... He's been playing... Archie Gray has played almost every position on the fucking pitch. Our goalkeeper broke his leg, basically, and he was out for bloody weeks, months.
He wasn't that good anyway.
I mean, he has his moments, right? I do like his ferocity and his attitude, but sometimes when he does things, I think, fucking hell, Vicario, what are you doing? But he was injured anyway. So to have our full strength back four, we've only had them for a handful of games this season, and it worked out that they were the knockout stages of the Europa League, and we managed to put in the performance. Mickey van der Ven with goal line clearances, Romero with top tier shithousery winding up Maguire made my evening, right? Because Maguire's a knobhead and Romero was just winding him up all game, and it was phenomenal. They've always had a little spat going back and forth anyway, but Romero top tier shithousery, right? But that's how you fucking grind out results. That's how you win games. When you're not at your full potential, you do what you need to do. We ground it out.
Why couldn't they do what they needed to do in other games?
That is a very good question. And the answer to it is, more than likely, they felt like even if they did, there was going to be nothing coming from it. Do you get what I'm saying? In the Europa League, in the knockout stages, or even in the group stages.
You're saying that at this point in the league, because it's the Premier League we're talking about. I know this is what we're saying.
Yeah.
But there came a point in the Premier League where Ange realised we're not going down.
Yep.
Balls to it.
Yep.
I'm gonna play whatever I want to play.
Yep.
We'll lose when we lose.
Yep.
But we're gonna get that trophy.
100%. He is.
You think that's not you think, but is that okay for fans who pay top pound in this country? The same, because I know because the same they charge pretty much the same.
I've paid a lot of money to watch him this season. I went to watch him against Leicester when we played absolute dog shit at home. I went away to Aston Villa to watch us in the FA Cup get beaten by Aston Villa. I've been to lots of games this season where we've played fucking atrociously.
You're just not a good luck charm, are you?
No, well, I went...
Maybe you got to stay on.
No, I went to the Man City game where we beat them and knocked them out the cup. I've been to quite a couple of good games this season. But yes, that's what's happened. And the answer is it acceptable? If you ask 99% of Tottenham fans, if they would have said to him at the beginning of the season, you're going to lose 22 games this season, and you're going to come 17th in the league, and you're going to win the Europa League, would they take it? And 99.9% of them are going to say yeah.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
And
they're all going to say yeah.
Of course we are.
Because of the guarantee. If you'd have said you're going to lose 22 games in the league this season, you're going to finish 17th, and you get to the final of the Europa League.
Yeah.
How many of them are going to say yes in that point?
Well, probably 50-50.
Yeah.
But this is the beauty of the game that we love so much, because it for once, and you know what? There's a retirement happening today, my friend. Someone's retiring. Something is retiring, and you know what it is? It's a little label, yeah, and it's called Spursy, right? That label is
retiring.
It's retiring. Do you know what it's called now? Man United-y. United-y. That's what we're going to call it.
I mean, it doesn't roll off.
It don't roll off.
No.
But you got to, whether you like us or you hate us, and I know you hate us, okay? I know you do. And I respect that, right? But you've got to fucking respect the hustle, bruv. You've got to say, do you know what? I fucking hate you, but fuck me.
Is it a hustle, or is Ange just clueless?
He's not clueless, right? What he did, right? He put his eggs in one basket and he prayed to Jah, to Allah, to the fucking Easter Bunny, right? He prayed to every deity that is available. That he showed that in the games where it mattered, right? And I think the players as well. He G'd them up, bruv. He's like he was like Paul Heyman in the back before the first ECW pay-per-view on Beyond the Mat. You remember that? He's like, I promise you get to the dance, and trust me, tonight, this is the dance. And that Ange was like, he was Heyman, bro. He was there. He was pumping him up, bro. He was giving him that verbal cocaine, bro. He was giving him that this is your fucking night. All the stuff's coming out now of what he was saying in the stadium. He was taking them, walking around the stadium going, look at these pictures on the wall. They're in black and white. That was the last time you can be on that wall. And he was G'ing these guys up. And they fucking bought it, man. They bought what he was selling. He was like, I don't know what I don't know how he did it, but he made them believe that no matter what was... He's already come out and said he knew in the league we weren't doing shit. He was resting people like Mickey van der Ven, like Romero. He was resting... Kulusevski's been fucked he for months and months. We had a lot of our main team out and he was resting them and putting kids on and, having to manage minutes. But when the big games came... Son's been out a lot of the season as well this season. But when the big games mattered, he made sure that our strongest backline was available, our wingers were there, and Solanke's been phenomenal. He just made them believe, and that is what he did. He's already come out and he said, we put all our eggs in that basket. I told myself and I told him we are focusing on that. And he's even come out and said some people at the club were not happy. People behind the scenes, he openly come out and said it. He said, I told him what my vision was in January, what we were going to do. We were going to win the Europa League, right? He told him. And he said people in the club were not happy. Because obviously they were losing week in, week out. We were playing absolutely shocking. And he said, that was my vision. I knew something special could happen. He said, but people at the club were not happy. And I know, and you know, if we'd have not won that, we would not be having this conversation, first of all. We'd be having a different conversation. But
he'd have been sacked.
He would have been sacked the night after, bro. As soon as that whistle blew, yeah, that's it, he's gone. And he knew it. He fucking knew it. And the players knew it, right? And this is the thing. Even, I think... A lot of the players now are saying, if Ange goes, we go. After what's happened this season, because I don't think respect.
I think you're going to lose players no matter what. So I genuinely think that one or two of your bigger names, including Romero, has already had their head spun.
I think if we'd have lost, he would have gone. I think now we've won.
He's still going to go.
I don't think he will.
I don't think the ambition at Spurs is anywhere near matched by the teams that are interested in him.
Yeah, but there's only one place he would want to go.
Yeah, Madrid.
And that's Atletico, yeah?
Where he can be as big of a shithouse as he wants.
But they've
been encouraged.
Yeah, but the thing is though, they've given him the captain's armband at Tottenham, so he's still been able to shout at the referee and be sort of all right.
Tottenham captains aren't all as they seem. If I may call back to a certain 2001 summertime moment. Tottenham captains aren't always as loyal, just as much as Arsenal captains aren't loyal sometimes. Tottenham captains aren't always loyal to the cause.
No. I mean,
and I
if
do
we're
think
talking...
that Romero, as an Argentinian, not
Of
always
course.
the biggest fans of England. Come
No,
on.
no, of course.
Is not going to want to stick around too long with that vision.
I would say that if Romero stays, and I hope he does for at least one season, I think it will only be one season. I don't
Okay.
think he's
Cards on the table. What happens next season? Where do you finish?
do you want my honest answer?
Even with a bang average, we'll say it's an average summer transfer window where you get a couple of good players, nothing special.
Yeah.
Where do Spurs in your mind finish?
My problem is still with Ange. I still have a problem with him, okay? And that's me being 100% honest.
Well, you
right?
said on TalkSport he's got to go.
I said at that time he had to go, right? I told him.
He said it on TalkSport.
I tell you.
I've got the clip.
Yeah, 100%.
You've got the clip.
100%.
If you want to hear it,
Inbox
let me
us.
know. Yeah,
we'll give it to you.
I'll put the clip up.
So, my problem is still the question that you asked. If we can perform and he can tactically do what he did in the knockout stages of the football, why couldn't he do the same thing and slightly change the system through the season? And do you want me to give you the answer? I think he's been humbled. I think he thought initially he could come in. He came in. We were 10 games unbeaten. He was fucking smashing it.
This is and I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
this is the point. He came in.
His
playing,
arrogance.
playing Celtic ball.
Yeah.
Which was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sorry to say it, in the Farmers League up north. he was playing Celtic ball down south. It was paying off because nobody was sort of figuring it out yet.
Yeah.
And then there came a game against Chelsea of all people at Spurs.
Yeah.
And they got found out.
Yeah.
High line.
Yeah.
Really poor.
Went down to
Chelsea,
10 men and
Chelsea,
still
yeah.
playing the high line.
Still playing a high line. Chelsea went and scored 4 or something like that. I remember it because I was on holiday at the time.
Yeah.
I was sitting watching it from.
We went 2-0 up.
I was sitting watching it from a jacuzzi in Mexico, and I was enjoying the fuck out of it.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah.
He got found out.
Yeah, and that's the point. He got found out, and there is no plan B.
Yeah.
Well, unless you call what he did against Man United plan B, but I think United being as poor as Tottenham, just made for an awful game, and it was horrid. But yeah, I'm yeah. Where do you finish?
If Ange has now taken off his Farmers League glasses, okay, and he understands now that you can play attacking football, okay. There are more than a handful of games this season that we went 2-0 up and ended up losing 3-2, right? It happened on 2 occasions that are in my mind fresh, but there's other occasions where we've gone 1-0 up and we've lost 2-1.
1-0 up at the Emirates.
Yeah. So
that was live.
And yeah, it was live. But the problem was his arrogance. He just kept pushing for more. And you can't do that in the Premier League.
You can. City in particular have proved that you can do it in the Premier League, but you can do it if, one, you have a team chase the ball for 80 minutes.
Yeah.
And then that said team gets tired between 80 and 90, and then City would punish teams.
Yeah.
Saw it a lot in City's era of dominance. They would just pass the ball around and bore the hell out of them. And then it would, 10 minutes left, teams are knackered, City have brought on subs, time to punish.
Because they had
score 2 more.
Yeah, but that's the thing, because they had the 2 good strength teams, basically, that they had the squad for it. But then the problem with Ange is that we played even a different. It wasn't even that. It wasn't even pass the ball around. It was literally, sitting right back, and we've had times where we constantly losing possession, playing it out the back. Because we've got a goalkeeper that's chipping over his own feet. You've got people putting him under pressure. Young defenders not doing the right thing. So there was a lot of ins and outs and what have yous in the way that he wanted to play, and we just didn't have the team for long enough to be able to do that for the whole season. We did it for 10 games, and then we went 2-0 up against Chelsea, and then things were happening, and he still had the arrogance that no, we're going to play it, we're going to play it, we're going to play it. And I think now, hopefully, if he can stop being as arrogant as he was and start understanding that when you go 1-0 up or 2-0 up in the Premier League, at least for 10, 15 minutes, sit back a little bit. You can, teams, you need to be able to just sit back. We've shown against Man United, and we
soak up a bit of pressure.
A bit of pressure, and then go on that counter attack, and then do it again. So there is a way that we can do really well, even with, like you say, strengthening up the team. We could get, a couple of decent players. All right, some people might leave, but it can be done. But he needs to change his mentality. He needs to understand that you can't be doing it all the time. You need to switch it up because you'll get found out. It's the Premier League.
Okay. I suppose we must congratulate Liverpool. They played a hell of a season from start to almost finish. I know they didn't play as well after they picked up the trophy or won. Were confirmed as champions.
Yeah.
Hell of a run. Salah and Van Dijk. I don't think they're going to. They're obviously not getting any better, but they're not going to be as good as they were like this season.
Yeah.
So I think Liverpool might end up dropping off if they don't get the signings they want. Same goes for Arsenal. I feel like we need to really push on, and there needs to be some signings. The lack of a signing in, I'm not going to call it naivety because they've been there long enough. I think it was arrogance that said we don't need a striker in January when we were crying out for one and not getting. I'm still of the belief if we'd have bought a championship striker in January, he'd have got 10 goals because the service is there. The service is consistent. The service is very good. It's of a high output, and not signing one and basically playing a DM as your striker, who did a fair job. Mikel Merino did really well, but it's not good enough. It's not enough for the demands of Arsenal fans, and I'm not talking about the ones that Chris doesn't like, and I'm not a big fan of.
I don't like any of
regular Arsenal fans that deserve better than having to sit through Mikel Merino playing as your striker, and poor loan signings like Raheem Sterling. Nothing against the guy, just wasn't up to it.
Terrible signing, I think. Really,
and I mean, plenty of things coming through. Miles Lewis-Skelly, excellent for 18 years old, got a ton of potential. Let's hope we don't lose him to a super club like Real Madrid. And yeah, I'm a bit more trusting in Arteta than you might be in Ange, but 3 years or whatever it is, no trophy, no, not even a final. Because if we'd have got to a Champions League final and lost, I can't see there being much of an argument or much complaints. But we got to a semi-final and we got thumped.
Well, the problem was you went out there and you played against Real Madrid, and you just fucking.
We burned ourselves out with Real Madrid.
But you just didn't show up against PSG. No. That was all it was, and it's not like you didn't have the capability that you could have beaten them. You could have beaten them.
Yeah.
The capability was there to beat them. It was just, again, human beings, players. Sometimes on the day they just don't fucking show up.
Well, as of this show going out, I think the final is technically this weekend, right?
It is, yeah.
So I'm fully expecting PSG to win that, and I've spoken with a few people about it. I think that Donnarumma, if he makes a couple of good saves and they win the trophy, will get the Ballon d'Or as well, be the World Player of the Year. Yeah, I do think that's coming. Lamine Yamal, fantastic. He's 17, 18. He's excellent. He'll have another year under his belt.
I'll tell you what, he's fantastic when you watch him for his age. He's fucking phenomenal.
Incredible.
And all those wrestling fans saying, who was that Drew McIntyre was taking a picture with? Who's this nobody?
Yeah, let's leave that to another show. I said this to our friends over at The Volley. I will shout them out for this one, Matt and Dan. And it was something along the lines with Sunderland and Leeds already, all but confirmed as relegated. Can Burnley survive? The three teams that have come up, much like the three teams that have gone down, are they up to it?
It's very the divide.
Seems like it's getting bigger.
It is getting bigger, and I don't know what can be done apart from maybe some sort of handicapping rule. So for the first season that you come up, maybe
You start
with
with
the
10 points.
well, no, not necessarily points, but sort of with the PSR thing, maybe that you're.
I mean, Forest broke the rule, didn't they? And they stayed up. So I guess it does work if you were given that sort of leeway with the
Yes,
PSR. Yeah.
yes.
But I think someone like Southampton or even Ipswich, who spent a lot of money, over 100 million in the summer,
Yeah.
to get to a level that they thought was going to stay up, and they might well have broken some PSR rules. That is all allegedly, we don't know that. But if it is found out they've broken those rules, they've broken them for nothing because they went down with a whimper.
Yeah, but tactically, I think Southampton and I think another success story is Wolverhampton Wanderers this year. I mean,
I think
you know,
the manager coming in, Vitor Pereira, did really well.
he did well. He did do well.
He also had a real luxury and a maverick of a player in Cunha, who is likely to leave to go to Man United.
I mean, I don't know
why end your career there,
mate. I can't understand like why he would go there. You know, it's absolutely insane. You're literally jumping onto a sinking ship there, really.
Yeah. He has been an absolute revelation for Wolves, and
I'd feel disrespected as a Wolves fan. Going,
it's the optics, though, isn't it? United are still one of the most supported clubs in the world. They've going on Asia tours and all that. Like after the season's finished, I know although they did lose to the Asia All Stars, it just caps their season.
It's mental, isn't it?
70,000 seater stadium. Wolves are never getting that. There's so many things. I mean, and United have probably got good money to offer him. They've probably doubled his salary.
Yeah, but I mean, it's if you've what they've done this season, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and what Cunha's done, I would feel disrespected as a Wolves fan to go, look, Man United and Wolves aren't that far away in the league.
This year, no, but there's always that scope that it's more likely that United will push on, Wolves will not. So I see the point. I do see why he's chosen that.
Fine, leave Wolves if you're going to leave Wolves.
Yeah,
he could have gone anywhere
else. Yeah, I think there was some other teams that
Tottenham were interested in Cunha. There was a lot of teams interested. So it must be, maybe he supported them as a boy. Maybe he's from London.
Maybe.
And he supports Man United. Who knows?
Forest as well. Really good season. Fell apart at the end. We're not going to go into the thing where we might end up getting banned from Forest Stadium. If we say anything bad about the owner, that's not our style. Gary Neville, obviously said some stupid things, and he got, which is Forest's right to tell him he's not welcome if he's going to say inflammatory things. Well, fine, stay at home, mate. I'm with it. No, I'm with it. He said in his post-match thing about Forest, Marinakis and Nuno talking. Yeah. He said he should quit and the players should quit. Why should he quit? Yeah. We're having a chat. Like, grow up, man. Like, don't be an idiot.
Segue, okay? Pundits.
Okay, who are you going after here?
All of them.
No, you're not going after Ian Wright.
All right, Wrighty's fine.
Wrighty's fine.
Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, yeah.
This is basically
Jamie Carragher.
It's basically the overlap, but
basically all of them, right? All they fucking did was chat shit about, oh no, Man United have got this, they know how to turn up in a final, blah 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 blah. Normally. But that's all we heard from all of them. None of them were, what's the word? They're impartial. Humble. Yeah, but now they've been humbled. Yeah, break their back, make them humble.
In a season where the word "stay humble" has been very forward, and out there.
These fucking pundits, man, and all these podcasts and all the shit that was talked about Tottenham and all the stuff of every time. From when it was announced and when the results came in, it was Tottenham Man United in that final for a good 2 weeks. All I heard on social media from these fucking muppets was, nah, Tottenham are done. Man United turn up in the final. Did you not see how they played all season? Did you not see that we beat them twice in the league once in the cup already, right? What the fuck is wrong with you, mate? Fuck you. Jamie Carragher, knobhead. Gary Neville, Scholesy, all of them. They just yappa, yappa, yappa. Shut it, please.
Between you and me, notice I didn't mention Roy Keane.
No, because he's a Yudo. That's why he's a Tottenham fan. Keano. Roy Keane. I respect Roy Keane.
Oh, okay, you respect him. You respect him not because he'd probably come round here and offer you out
No,
in the car park.
no, because do you know why? Roy Keane.
I'll see you in the car park.
I see in the. It's a final. It's a final. You got to turn up in the final, right? The thing with Roy Keane, and I respect him. He has no real allegiance to. He's even said it, and it upset Gary Neville. Have you seen that clip? He goes,
No, because he fell out with Ferguson, and like there's a lot of ill will still.
of
He still
course.
holds a grudge there, I
Yeah.
think, with Sir Alex, and I'm sure it will.
Which is fair, but the thing, but he said, I don't support Man United. I don't support them. He said, them winning or losing doesn't make or break my week, But I think a lot of these other pundits, they actively support the teams. Do you know what I mean? And it's sort of,
you got to remember a lot of them had longer careers at United than Roy Keane.
yeah,
So-
that's fine, But no, Roy Keane was a bit more.
Roy Keane's star probably burned brighter than Neville.
Yeah.
Not maybe. I don't know about Scholes. Scholes had a
Scholes
magnificent career.
Scholes is a phenomenal player, mate. And you know what, right? I
Eventually, we'll have a show where we talk about these players.
Oh.
I can feel it already. We're going to talk about, and I'm not talking about what they call Barclays men. I'm talking about what they call Carling men.
Carling
when
Premiership.
the Premiership was sponsored by Carling.
Do you know one player that doesn't get his flowers, right? And he's a fucking phenomenal player. And I remember growing up, and if you look at his numbers, Michael Owen, right?
No, I think Owen.
Oh
gets
my
enough.
God.
I think Owen gets enough.
Oh, Michael Owen, absolutely fantastic player. When you look at players, and I tell you what, they don't get much better than Wayne Rooney either.
See,
You look-
I feel. I know you're talking about Rooney and Owen, but I feel there's one player here who I loathe to do it because he wore the colours of your lot.
yeah,
Les Ferdinand.
mate. I tell you what, Les Ferdinand for Jermaine Defoe.
See, I think Ferdinand had a better career than Defoe. So
yeah.
that's where I think I'm also, and I have to fact check it. I think he scored more goals than Defoe in the Premier League as well.
In the Premier League, yes, not for Tottenham, but in the Premier League, probably. When you talk about, Newcastle United, you talk about Tottenham Hotspur, you talk about maybe QPR.
Yeah.
The footballing brains that are here. We've grown up with the FA Carling Premiership, right? We were there in its inception.
Don't come to us about Barclays men. I'm not having this Barclay men talk.
Yeah.
It's Carling men. That's what we had. We had Carling.
That's right.
Super Sunday was brought to you by Ford.
It was.
It weren't brought to you by anything else. It's brought to you by Ford. That was how it was.
That's right.
The music was incredible.
Yeah.
The graphics were good. Everything was just right for us on a Super Sunday, and you knew what you were getting.
Do you know what though? I've got some more hate. Talking about Super Sunday and Monday Night Football.
Go on.
Richard Keys. Mr. Gray. Yeah?
Okay.
Fuck both of you, right? Yeah? Do you know, you should have seen here we go. And Arsene fucking Wenger, right?
Arsene's right.
No, he ain't right.
I know where he's going with
absolutely
this,
not
and
right.
Arsene is right.
No, he's not right.
Arsene's right. You should not be able to sneak in that way.
It don't matter.
You should not be able to backdoor
When you
your way
turn
in.
when you turn up in the games that you need to turn up at, and you earn the right to get in the final and you win that final, suck it up, Buttercup.
I would even consider a midway point where the winner of that Europa League, if they don't qualify via the league system, should go into the qualifying round.
No, because then
Don't
no
just
one's
go
going
straight
to bother.
into the group
No,
stage.
because no one's going to bother playing. They're not going to show up and put good teams
It's
out.
a good character dangle.
Look,
And when Arsene speaks, you listen.
no, when Arsene was chatting breeze with those two mugs on the thing, oh, it's disgusting that Tottenham at 17th and Man United at 16th could get in. Suck it up, mate. Suck it up. At the end of the day, it is what it is. We turned up at the games we needed to turn up at. We got the results. We won the games. We got through. Them's be the rules. Let me tell you something. If it was fucking Bodo Glimt or Ferenc Faros or whoever, right? Or a team lower down in their respective league that would have got through, and they're like, we've got Crystal Palace, who were 12th in the Premier League and has won the FA Cup, and they're in a European competition. No one's moaning. Oh, it's a magical story. Yeah?
It is for Palace.
That's what I'm trying to say, bruv. So it's not about the position they are in the league. It's about the team.
Well, if Palace won the FA Cup, does that make them the third biggest club in London now?
What, above Arsenal and Arsenal women?
Arsenal women.
Yeah,
okay. Arsenal women, Chelsea, Chelsea women, Palace.
Suck out.
Not Fulham. Not Fulham.
You know what? But this is the issue. It's not about where Tottenham finished in the league and how they've got into the Champions League. It's because it's Tottenham. It's because I think.
No, I do think that there's a little too much of a dismissive way about how Spurs finished in the league. I do think that it needs to be talked about more. I don't think anyone should be getting away with finishing 17th and being applauded at the end of the season. If anyone else finished 17th and won a trophy, no matter what trophy, there would still be very, very big questions.
Of course,
surrounding
but there still is questions. That's the thing. I'm not dismissing that there are questions.
I don't care about the questions.
Well, no, at this point, I don't care about the questions. You know, when I'll start asking the questions, when we get a decision about is Ange staying or is he going, and this is the issue that I've got at the moment with the club. There's so much speculation, and the fact that we finished 17th, right? As soon as that final happens, they do the parade, happy days, blue smoke, lovely, beautiful. When it's all said and done, season's over, okay? Even Ange said, no one's spoken to me, I'm going on holiday, right? That's what he said. No one from the club has spoken to me, I'm going on holiday tomorrow.
Where's it going? Greece?
Yeah, probably, right? So, this is the issue. This is why when we need to start asking questions is he staying or is he going? If he's staying, announce it, say, yep, Ange is going to be here next season. We're already planning, get in that transfer market, make some moves. Apparently, we've been offered Sane from Bayern. He's 29 years old, but a very good player.
Very good player, not had the best of seasons.
No.
He's one of those that's got to bounce back.
Yeah, and he's got a good, story arc coming. He's got a good redemption arc.
Has he?
Possible, yeah. So anyway, there are questions to be asked. 100%. But we need, first of all, the first question we need to ask: are we going to have a new manager or are we going to have Ange? And that's the first question that needs to be answered. Until then, we can't then say to Ange, right, are we going to have the same fucking shit next season or what? What's your plans? You know what I mean? So that's the first question, and we don't know that yet. That's the first thing that needs to be answered. Until that gets answered, I can't speculate on anything because it is 50-50 whether he's going to be here or not. He's won us a trophy. I don't think morally you can get rid of him. I think you still need to give him a transfer window and give him till January, at least. Personally.
Till January, there you go.
I mean, that's just me, just being a respectful human being and say, do you know what? You shit out in the league, absolutely disgusting, 22 defeats, but by hook or by crook, you've managed to pull the Europa League out of your arse. So got to respect it.
So let's talk about it quickly. Before any transfer window opens, before this Club World Cup, before any transfer window takes place, who wins the league next season? And we'll talk about this in our preview when it comes up as well. After the transfer window's taken place and after everyone's got their squads ready. Who in your mind has got it good enough?
Before any players get bought?
Yeah. Who would you pick to take it?
Well, I mean, it's again, if we're going...
A learned opinion.
Well, a learned opinion and me not being a fucking moron, if you look at it as it is now, it's got to be either Arsenal or Liverpool, isn't it? It's got to be.
That's a fair point. I much as I want to say Arsenal, I would say Liverpool on the basis of the transfer sort of business they're going to go with. I mean, you can't look past them.
It's got to be Arsenal and
Arsenal will probably finish second or third. Yeah, that's fine. Like, it happens.
But the thing is,
we need to concentrate on picking up some form of silverware.
If that happens again and you come second, and you don't
You
win
can't
anything.
sack a manager that finishes second. It's too difficult to sack a manager that is still technically successful.
I mean, yeah, but again, how do you measure success? Is five
Every factor comes in this point, because this is why managers will get sacked, and it's not only the football on the field. There's many things. If a team is no longer responding to him, if you can see that a team is giving up on him, then fine, that counts too. If the fans are, if the fans are sort of voting with their feet and with their wallets, and this is one of the reasons Emery was binned. Arsenal were perfectly happy with Unai Emery around the club. It was the idea that instead of having a 60,000 seat stadium filled, 35,000 were turning up for a Europa League game, and that's when they lost the plot. That was it. It was like, well, you know how much money this guy is costing us now. That was the bottom line of it all, and that will be the bottom line of Spurs. If in October you're off the pace, you're bottom half of the table, and instead of getting 65,000 or whatever it is in the stadium, you get 52.
I think
And those margins will piss off Levy to no end, and it will also piss off Vinay Venkatesham, because Vinay, former colleague, I guess, of mine, I feel like I know how his mind works. I also feel like I know why he took that job at Spurs. It was the first job that was offered to him, near closest to his house.
Well, I think there's a difference between success and progression. I don't think that 5 seasons not winning anything and consistently being the nearly man.
There has been improvement, because you've got to remember it was a season where he finished 8th.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but I mean, success is winning things, isn't it?
Of course it is, but it's difficult to then go to something new. Liverpool took that jump. They didn't. They were forced into that jump because Klopp left.
Yeah.
But Arsenal, unless they are forced into it, will not sack him. If he consistently finishes second, consistently brings in that revenue from Champions League, and we are and successful isn't the word you're looking for, but maintaining that level
that's what I mean. Consistency
is key, and if he continues to be consistent by finishing second and getting high placements in Champions League and whatever, the other cups I don't think they care about anymore.
But when does it get to the point when they go, right, okay, it's 7 seasons now?
If he finishes 5th.
So
if he finishes 5th...
So the year you don't get European Champions League, he's gone.
Quite possibly. Because that's when the bottom line changes. And if he doesn't get what they demand of him now, and what his own sort of goals that have been set, then they'll say, well, you're not performing, we can get rid of you. And that's what will happen, I think. In a couple of years' time, we'll be 5th in the Premier League in April, and the game will be gone. They'll get rid of him.
That's a prediction? Do you think the majority of the fan base will be happy if next season you come 2nd or 3rd again and don't win anything? No. Do you think there might be...
I don't think they'll be happy, but I don't think they'll be screaming for change. The only people that will be screaming for change, and this is something that we talk about in our other shows, is that small but really loud minority.
Yeah.
And it's a couple of hundred people. They are not very bright. They are just very loud. They have no tactical insight. They have nothing to it. They add nothing to the conversation apart from so-and-so out. So-and-so out. Time to go. We've had enough of this. Oh, the football's not good enough. We should have won that 5-0. We shouldn't be drawing with Man United. We shouldn't be drawing with Spurs. That's what will happen. And that loud minority does get amplified by things like YouTube, by things like that. But it's still just a minority. It's still just a bunch of clowns talking out of their arseholes. And, you don't have to beat that one.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I mean, the vocal minority are fucking morons, clowns, who have not got a sort of they're deluded. They're
Fucking
they're
reform, innit?
Yeah, it's the reform.
That's what AFTV is. It's
like
reform.
It's reform.
Like nobody really wants to hear them talk, but they're just too loud that you have to just sit through it.
Yeah.
And not interested. No one in the club pays mind to it. I've actually seen people at the club laugh at it because it's just garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you got to remember, I was there for a long time.
Mm.
I've seen things.
I seen things, but it didn't mean nothing to man.
You know what I mean?
It was something.
It was something, but
There's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just brush it off.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing.
You know, and sometimes if man say him a thing,
In my team.
there.
You know what I mean?
So
Okay.
let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it.
Because before you know it, the new season will start.
That's right.
We are absolutely delighted that you've joined us for the end of season wrap up. This has been, cathartic in its own way.
So I'll tell you what. Before we wrap up, let's actually wrap up then. So we've spoken about Arsenal. We've spoken about Tottenham Hotspur, right? So let's talk about the winners and that from the rest. So Liverpool, they've won the Premier League. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, very good, very good. Liverpool. Mo Salah's great.
Champions League spaces. They have gone to obviously Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea,
and
not Aston Villa.
No, you're right.
Newcastle United.
Newcastle and Spurs. There you
Newcastle and Spurs. So that is your British contingent.
That's
in
a lot
the Champions League.
of teams in the Champions League next year. Yeah.
Yes. So one question while we're on Liverpool, they've won the league. I feel that I've always thought that Arsenal fans are obnoxious as fuck, right? But Liverpool fans are very, very close behind. Because
Liverpool fans, I've always felt like they expect glory. They expect it. It's like they are.
But they think Liverpool's the best team in the world.
It's their divine right to have victories and trophies.
Yeah.
And I've got Liverpool, fans who are friends. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's a little insufferable. I'm sure they think the same about Arsenal fans. I'm sure they think the same about Man United and City. I don't sometimes feel that I think there's a little thing about Spurs fans where it's just a bit beneath.
Yeah, but this is the problem. This is why people got so aggravated when it looked like we were going to win the Europa League, because people were like, how dare you? And that is in it. Let's be honest. You felt how dare you?
Not how dare you. It's just it is. It's
the audacity of you finishing 17th and then getting into
what it feels like, and I can put this into terms that most people can get with. It's like that. You got a neighbour. They're noisy. They're a little bit leery, but they're really you can dust them out anytime.
Right.
You feel like they come to you. They might say something, but you think, you know what? I could mash you up in a second. Like you're a little guy. Yeah. Like I could end this whenever I feel like. That's how it feels. It feels like it's a loud mouth. But all mouth, no trousers, as they say.
But now we have pantaloons.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's Chaz and Dave. Rabbit.
That's
what it is.
Rabbit.
Yeah.
Rabbit. Yep. You got more rabbit than Sainsbury's. Right, but the thing is, Liverpool. We're talking about Liverpool fans, right?
Yeah, Liverpool fans. I mean, they can stick their chests out. They've won everything.
But the problem, do you agree? Because I thought it's mad that they were booing my man for going to
Trent.
Yeah.
Shameful, but Liverpool fans are known for their shamelessness.
Yeah.
What is it they say about them? Was it offended by everything, ashamed of nothing?
Yeah.
Like that's a Liverpool fan in a nutshell. And I know there's a few Liverpool fans among you that will be, that are part of even our group of what we'd like to call friends and that.
Yeah.
And I'd stick by it.
Yeah. I think it was so wrong.
Awful.
That guy has helped
his life to the club.
Yeah, but he's literally given his life to the club. And the fact that he could have gone before and he didn't, and he stayed and helped you win the league.
And he wanted to emigrate to somewhere nicer.
Do you know what I mean?
Shame on you.
Shame on you lot, man. You have fucking disrespected that young man, right? Because what? He had the audacity to leave Liverpool, and everyone's like, oh, it's the way that he did it. How did he do it?
Because Liverpool didn't make a profit on it.
Exactly.
Oh, get over yourself.
Do you know what I mean? That's what it's about. It's not about him leaving then. What? It's about the money. No. It's about you lot feeling slighted that how dare you leave Liverpool? How dare you leave Liverpool? You see Real Madrid as your rivals. Yeah, and it's mad. Let that guy go. He's done everything he can for you lot. He's literally given his life to him, hasn't he?
Did you feel the same way about Sol?
Fuck Sol Campbell. Fuck the Sol Campbell, right?
No, I mean, Sol Campbell gave his life to Spurs.
He did not give fuck. He did not. Ledley King gave his life for Tottenham Hotspur.
He gave his life to Spurs until that point where he said, "You know what? I need to challenge for trophies. I need to push on. I need to up my career." He was the lowest paid England player at the time, and he was one of the best. He was if he wasn't considered world class as a centre back at Spurs at the time, he was as close as can be.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He was a very good player, Sol Campbell, but the way that at the end of the day, I can't. You know, there's not no Tottenham shirts in my wardrobe with Campbell on the back of them.
Can we get one?
There are Ledley King shirts though. In my, that's a real club man. Yeah, a one club man. You know,
no one else could sign him. He failed a medical, wouldn't he?
Bro, he's only got one knee. He's better than John Terry. Oh, Ledley. He's the man.
I do hear a lot of things about Ledley King being so talented. It was unreal, but the fitness just wasn't there.
You've got people even.
He was like he couldn't train, could he?
No, but he'd go out on a Saturday and actually have people in his fucking pocket. You got people, world class people like Thierry Henry and other players saying Ledley King was phenomenal. He was a different animal.
Just had no knee.
But he didn't need him. He didn't need him, you know. But yeah, like I say, the whole Liverpool thing, booing my man, it was disgraceful, man. So they won the league, fair play to them. So they're your Champions League teams. You got Liverpool, you got Arsenal, you got Man City, you got Chelsea, you got Newcastle United. Europa League and Tottenham, and then Europa League. Who have we got? We've got Crystal Palace,
Aston Villa,
and
no, I think that's it.
Not Forest.
Forest have dropped into the Europa Conference League.
Correct. Okay.
So yeah, I think Newcastle might have gone into one of those if they hadn't have finished fifth.
They would have. Yeah.
So yeah, it's 6-2-1. Like it's absurd that we've got that many teams in the Champions League. When you remember, it used to be just the European Cup and only the winners of the league would go in.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
but again,
what a time, eh?
It's
we'll also consider this our call to action to get Champions League football back on prime time terrestrial TV. Let's not put it behind a paywall. Let's not put it on TNT anymore. Let's bring it back to the way it was. You know, Champions League football on a Tuesday and Wednesday night.
Yeah.
On ITV or BBC, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It was glorious. They want to talk about why fans are so disenfranchised. It's because you took away something as big as Champions League football and stuck it on Sky, as when it first moved, and then TNT who stuck it behind. And it's just the thing about people having to pay for these games is disgusting. Anyway, let's bring it back. Let's put it back on. They've already got the highlights. Give them one game a week.
Yeah.
How hard is it to give? BBC have the highlights now. Give them one game on a Wednesday. Amazon have the Tuesday game, although I think that's gone as well. Amazon, who had wonderful coverage, by the way. Stick one game. Just give us one. Stick it on on the big TV, on the big channels.
Yeah.
Not TNT. I don't want to listen to Darren Fletcher. I don't want to listen to the commentator, not the player. I don't know if the player's any good either.
Right.
I don't want to hear Rio Ferdinand. I don't want to hear any of them. Stick it on. I know we're not having Gary Lineker anymore. I know he's shifted on. But let's have Champions League nights back on proper TV.
I mean, it would be fantastic. I remember, as you do, growing up, watching on a Wednesday night, watching Champions League on ITV, Continental, the advert for the tyres and all that.
Exactly.
It was,
all of that stuff.
We loved it.
We want it back. And there's got to be a way. I know it's all about money, but surely we can get one game every Champions League match day, on BBC.
Well, they have to give the final for free, don't they? So even TNT. But do you know the sneaky way that they done it? They didn't put it on YouTube or anything like that. They put it on Discovery Plus as a free watch. Okay. So you're watching the TNT feed on Discovery Plus, which is an app that you can get, and it's got limited content. But because it was the finals, so of the Europa League final, Champions League final, Conference final, they're all free on on there.
Discovery, yes.
Yeah,
But
because you have to, obviously, then you're watching the TNT feed or whatever. So we've got that. So who's been relegated this season? We've got Ipswich.
the same teams that came up, Ipswich, Southampton,
and Leicester, which is a shame. Yeah.
Yes and no. Leicester didn't do much to. They didn't really do anything. They were a team it was a nothing. They hired Ruud van Nistelrooy and they got worse.
Yeah.
Southampton tried to play football from the outset, as did Ipswich. They tried to pass the ball, tried to do all the right things, or what's considered the right things in today's modern football. And they were getting caught. They weren't good enough to play that type of football, especially Russell Martin. Southampton, Southampton didn't get any better. They sort of got the same. Ipswich started well, maybe looked like more likely of any of the three to do something, and they did have some wonderful players in there. Delap looks like he's going to be a star somewhere else now.
I mean Delap, you lot should sign him.
Well, it's up for grabs. I think he's obviously made clear that he wants to stay in the Premier League, and why wouldn't he? He's good enough. I'm a huge fan of Amari Hutchinson, purely because I got to see him do his stuff when I was at Arsenal as well. And he looked great. He looked like I was always against his move to Chelsea, and I guess eventually they figured that out as well when he moved to Ipswich. But I hope he stays in the Premier League. I hope he's got another chance somewhere else. The teams that are coming up, Leeds as championship winners, Burnley, who conceded hardly any goals.
Yeah, they literally didn't. Yeah,
and Sunderland, who I'm really thrilled at because I don't believe that Chris Wilder and Sheffield United deserved another chance in the Premier League. They kept blowing it. They are garbage in the Premier League. So let's have Sunderland. Let's have the Tyne-Wear derby back in.
Oh mate,
8 bookings a game. Let's fucking
let's
go
go.
for it, man.
I'll
Let
tell
them
you
kick
what.
the lumps out
Yeah,
of each other.
that derby is one that I'm looking forward to watching next season because I've got family from Newcastle. Who are Newcastle fans, so they're looking forward to Sunderland coming up. Which is mad one really. They
You ever been to Newcastle away?
No.
Crikey.
Is it mental? Yeah.
Hard work.
Yeah.
Especially when you're hungover.
Yeah.
Well, you may turn it into an all weekend affair, didn't you?
You know what we could do this season? We could go
we're gonna go on tour.
We should go to a couple of games.
Yeah. You also got the added bonus in the Championship this season. I know Luton went down.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be playing Stevenage next year. So good luck with that. Championship football, Wrexham.
Yes.
The Disney Club.
Yeah.
The Disney Club are 1 league away from Premier League football. I think with the right investment, which they have, and the right sort of recruitment, they could end up in a playoff spot. Birmingham the same. Lots of money. They can push on, and they'll be hoping to get straight into the Premier League.
Yeah, because Birmingham have come up, haven't they? So
smashing points records, I think, in League One.
Yeah, I mean Birmingham were playing against Stevenage Borough.
Yeah, so Birmingham and Wrexham were playing Stevenage this year. They've obviously shifted on. Charlton as well. Charlton back in Championship. Good for them.
Yeah.
They were a Premier League club once upon a time.
They were,
back when. Yeah, glory years of the Premier League. Charlton were a part of it.
Mate, do you know what? Let's just for shits and giggles talk about some teams that were in the Premier League and people were like. So I
miss Blackburn.
But Blackburn Rovers,
Bolton Premier League winners,
Bolton Wanderers, Swindon Town. Yeah.
No. You see, the thing about Bolton, I never enjoyed Arsenal going to Bolton. We didn't do too well.
Oldham,
yeah, Bradford. Bradford, who apparently packing out their stadium week in week
100%.
Out,
I've seen it.
Knock it.
No, you can't.
Good for them.
We've had some teams in the Premier League that Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm not big on the Sheffield clubs, but
but they were they were up there. Some of the teams that started the original Premier League, or for the first 4 or 5 years, it's crazy to see that some of them are in the very low leagues.
It's crazy and it's disappointing for some. I never enjoyed watching teams like Cardiff and that. Swansea, on the other hand, who I thought were excellent in the Premier League.
Yeah, Cardiff and Swansea, we're up.
Shout out as well. I feel sorry for them because they got 90+ points in the conference this year on the National League and didn't go up. York City, they ended up getting knocked out in the playoffs despite getting that ridiculous points total.
Yeah.
Barnet were the team that went up after all that.
It's mental.
So yeah, I feel bad for York in that situation. I do think it should be 3 up, 3 down in League Two.
Do you remember Wigan? Wigan came through from literally
Yeah,
the
Wigan,
bottom
Wigan,
league, and they
we're-
come to the
we're a
Premier
nothing club.
League.
Fulham were Division 2 for a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Wigan were another one that came up, and
Like,
then
we can do the reminiscing, the Carling chats.
yeah, we'll do that.
We
Maybe we could do that. The Carling chats. We'll have we'll have a
talk
little
about the Carling League.
yeah, mate.
Good
you know?
times. Yeah. So let's wrap it up because we got other things to think about and other things to do.
Yeah.
So, it's been a season of ups. It's been a season of shits. It's been a season of horrific trophy winners.
I'm reaching for it.
He's reaching for that shirt again. Like, oh, Europa winners.
Oh, look at this.
Anyone but them.
Look at this.
Anyone
I know.
but them.
But you know what? We couldn't give a shit. Yeah, sorry, mate. Was that
Cheers,
burn?
bruv. Yeah, careful.
Tottenham Hotspur, Champions League. Lucky, or is it luck, or is it just turning up at the right time? We'll take it. We'll see what happens next season. Obviously, Arsenal always been for the last few years there or thereabouts, but just missing it by a smidge. So, again, we'll see what happens next season. Are Man City going to come back and try and start clawing back for it?
Probably.
Where the fuck are Man United going to be next season? No European football.
I think they'll be better next season with no European football.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be.
Well rested.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be, End of story. There's no if, buts or maybes. They need to turn up next season because all these Londoners that support them are going to be very upset.
So let's leave it with that. I am JB. Next to me, the best Chris in all of football and wrestling podcasts. Yes, he's a Spurs fan.
Come on, Tottenham! Champions League.
We thank you so much for joining us on this end of season review.
The best of friends.
The best of pals.
We're still buddies, man. It doesn't matter.
We're still buds. Yeah, this has been Saint and Greavesy. Sorry, no, we're not Saint and Greavesy, are we?
No.
We should have been.
Yeah, we should have been.
And I miss those guys terribly.
I'll be Greavesy all day long.
Of course you will.
Of course.
But yeah. So if you like it, please do hit that like button. If you feel that way, hit the subscribe button too. Why not? This is what we do.
It's been the end of season chat and it's been phenomenal. Like you say, it's been cathartic to a point to get it all off the chest. The season's done. We're looking forward to the next season now. We've got the closed season, see what happens in the transfers. We might have a few transfer window videos to go through and see who's bought who and what's going on.
For all you football fans who are taking this in and watching this and joining us, we will see you after the summer. Have a great summer. We are off to go have a pint of Carling each and talk about David Ginola's hair. Take care, everyone.
Peace.